Hi, this is my second video talking about books and book recommendations during this coronavirus isolation. My name is Adriana, and I'm here to talk to you, or maybe just talk to myself, about books and what books I'm recommending. I've been reading some good stuff, especially now in isolation, even though I am working from home. But I've come across a lot of good stuff. So I wanted to share that with you. Sorry about the hand moving the phone. As you can see, this is a very basic setup. I'm basically filming on my phone because I imagine I'm basically talking to myself, so I don't need a lot of stuff. The books that I'm gonna recommend is obviously won't appeal to everyone, but like one of my favorite authors, Erin Morgenstern, says in her most recent book, which is this one, The Starless Sea, not all stories will appeal to all listeners, but all listeners are looking for a story. So if this appeals to you, that would be absolutely great, but I'm sure if it doesn't, maybe I can recommend one that does. So the first one, and I'm gonna pull it from my bookshelf back here, is The Vacation by T.M. Logan. I first discovered him when he wrote his first book, which was called Lies, and it's really, really good. It's one of those twisty thrillers. You don't see the ending. You just don't see it coming. So this one is about, obviously, like it says, a group of people that go on holiday. Let's just say that one of the couples, or two of the couples, are cheating, but you don't really know. I mean, that's just part of it. There's a lot more underneath. So this one is a really good book to read, and I'm sure, no, it's not going to be released until July 21st, so you may have to wait a little bit more on this one, but just add it to your pile of books to check out of the library once libraries open again, or to buy from preferably from your local indie bookstore, because they really are in a lot of trouble right now. And I really do believe, book lovers, we have to support them. So this will be out in July. The next one that I wanted to recommend was this one, The Silent Treatment by Abby Graves, because the plot is so unusual. Imagine a couple that everything is perfect on the surface, but once they're by themselves, this couple doesn't talk to each other, and they haven't talked to each other in more than 6 months. Now, the mystery for the reader is to figure out why these two people haven't been talking to each other, and what the deal is behind that. So once you discover why, it's incredible. And she writes exceedingly well. So this one is a really good option, and it will be out on June 20th, maybe. Let me just check that. No, actually April 2020. So I think this has been released or is about to be released, but in any case, it's released this month. So watch out for this one. Silent Treatment, Abby Graves, really good. My son. It's really hard doing this this self-isolation thing with a teenager. It's difficult. The other one that I want to recommend, Private Means by Cree Lefevre. The book is it's an unusual observation about marriage and what it means to be married and what it means to stay together as a couple. So the plot more or less goes around, it's this man and a woman who have been married for a long time. One day, her dog goes missing, and this little small event, although it can appear small and insignificant, but it wreaks havoc on their marriage. Basically, they start questioning whether they do want to remain together or whether they want to stay together to work on their marriage. So it's a really it's an acute observation on marriage. It's very analytical in what it means to kind of like going through the ups and downs of married life together. So I really recommend this one, and it is out on, let's see, give me 1 second, May 5th. So a little under a month. So that'll be coming soon. Oh, this one is great. This is one by one of my favorite historical fiction writers. Her Last Flight by Beatrice Williams. And this does not come out until July, so this is more of a summer book, but keep it on your radar because it kind of tells the story of a woman who is looking for evidence about a missing aviator who went missing during the 1930s. And it's kind of like an homage to Amelia Earhart and her life, married to George Putnam. So that is really interesting. If you have read anything by Beatrice Williams, she is really talented in putting you specifically in the moment in time in which she's writing, and just, you know, the dialect, everything. She nails it. And I interviewed her once for the paper that I write for, and she really goes all in. Like, she does all her research on how, you know, people behaved, how they dressed, how they spoke, depending on the time period that she's writing about. So she really is knowledgeable on what she's doing. So Her Last Flight, Beatrice Williams, out in July. Keep a lookout for that. This is one of my favorite thriller authors, and if you have not read anything by Jennifer Hillier, I recommend her first book, Creep, and her most recent book before this one, which is called Jar of Hearts. Those two will blow you away. Little Secrets, it's this woman who finds out that her husband is being unfaithful, and that, let's just say that spins a whole bunch of emotions within her, and it makes her a little bit psychotic. But it's very interesting, and same thing. It's a twisty page thriller or page turner that you won't be able to figure out. Maybe you will, you know, before I do. But it usually leaves you in the dark until the very end. So this one is a very good one to look out for, and it will be out. It's out in April. It doesn't tell me what date in April, but I'm sure if you look it up, you can see which exact day. But it really is a great book, and she is an amazing writer. And the last but not least, this one, Watching You Without Me by Lynn Cody. I get a lot of my ideas for books, and for books that I want to include on the book list of the paper I write for, from NetGalley. That's where I get most of my advanced reader copies. If you don't know, NetGalley is a service for book reviewers where you can request digital advanced proofs of books. Depending on who you are, I think librarians get a lot of, are authorized for a lot, just because depending on that, they'll purchase copies for their libraries. I'm lucky enough that I get approved for almost everything that I request. So I have a lot to go through, and this one was part of their catalog. So before this whole shit show of the coronavirus happened, I contacted the publisher and ordered a hard copy, because I really wanted to see if I could include it in my summer lists. And oh my gosh, it's really good. It really is fantastic. Now, what's it about? Um, it's about this woman. She goes home after a long time, um, and she goes to care for her older sister, because her older sister has special needs. And when she goes to care for her older sister, she meets one of her caregivers, and eventually that relationship starts evolving into something more. And I don't want to spoil it, and that's why I'm very, very careful and hesitant when I talk about a book, because I don't want to say anything that'll spoil it. But let's just say that the caregiver is not everything that he appears to be, and that's what makes it like super interesting, because along with the main character, you're trying to figure out who this man is and if he is everything he appears to be. So, Watching You Without Me by Lynn Cody. It comes out in July as well, but just keep a lookout for it. Did I say that was the last one? Yes, and I am shuffling around. I knew I had one more. Robin Harding, The Swap. Robin Harding, if you didn't read her previous novel, which was called The Arrangement, she's very good at writing what I like to call domestic noir, or just noir in general, because it's these very dark relationships, or relationships that are problematic. The arrangement was between a younger woman and an older man, and there's quite a bit of a power play involved. The Swap is about it's about, like it says in the title, basically a marriage that two couples that swap partners, and everything that derives from that, all the complications. But it's not just that. Also, there's a lot of envy involved, a friend that's basically not a friend, that is kind of like on the sidelines of what these two couples are doing, and waiting for a slip to kind of like play the problems to her advantage. So you have really, really flawed characters, and I think in a book, that's what I love the most, is when authors write these fascinating, flawed characters, that you can really, dive into. And even if they are unlikable, and even if they are, not at all good people, they just make great fiction. So Robin Harding, The Swap, keep it in your radar. This will be out in, let's see, let's just read the publicity. It should tell me. I think it's a July book, but sorry. Let's see. I don't know who I'm apologizing to, because I'm probably talking to myself here. It'll be out in June 23rd. So keep these on your radar, please. And I think that's it. If you have any questions about any of the books, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. And I will be back probably Friday with another set of recommendations. Once I go through all these physical books that I have, obviously because publishers are not sending hard copies. All publishing houses are closed right now. Most of them are based in New York, so obviously they're all shut down. But I have digital advanced reader copies, so we can talk about those and which ones I recommend. Again, if you have any questions about any of the books I recommended today, just let me know. Thank you so much. Bye.